Damn it, who does he think he is? I need to call and get to the bottom of this.
Hello?
Phil, this is Anita.
Anita?
Anita Sarkeesian. You produce my weekly podcast, Feminist Frequency Radio. I just found out that Ebony is with you recording your Spice podcast. She's supposed to be here at our Feminist Frequency offices. We have meetings scheduled.
Meetings?
Phil, your Spice thingy is messing up my whole schedule. All right, so, I might be able to forgive you. I just need to know when I get to be on the Spice cabinet.
This is Phil Surkis. Welcome to Spice Cabinet. The end.
Uh-huh.
No, this is just the beginning. I'm here with the famous, incredible Ebony Aster from
Feminist Frequency.
Radio and Feminist Frequency.
And also
the
just the
organization
world at
and
large.
The world at large at Ebony Aster on Twitter because she's burning it up, spitting fire on the daily.
Right,
I can't even keep up. Hello, Ebony. Welcome to Spice Cabinet.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
I am having her here because we are in my kitchen here in Oakland. Because I'm going to keep it real. Ebony lives in the Los Angeles area
The city
somewhere.
of angels, right. But I was desperate to be on Spice Cabinet because I'm a follower. And because if cool people are doing something, I want to be doing it too. So I was like, Phil, let me be on Spice Cabinet. He said yes.
Yeah.
And it meant he had to let me into his lovely home.
Happy to do so. Happy to do so.
Were you, though? Or were you like, this is the only way this trick is going to quit bothering me, so I have to let her in? Y'all, listen.
No, I think it's all good.
Okay.
Because,
It is. And I feel like, okay, you can cut this part out. But
she's calling edits already. Oh, my God.
thinking in segments. So, Phil, our producer, came upon the scene, didn't correct me when I was calling him by the wrong name for, probably 4 smooth weeks. Which was both sweet and hilarious when I discovered that I was calling you Max.
Yeah.
And you never corrected me. Spoiler alert, I do this all the time with people.
Okay.
I did it with my friend Jimmy. I used to call him Steve. And eventually I became so engulfed with shame, I wound up making out with him. So now we're even. Another factoid for the listeners.
Yeah.
So Phil started producing our podcast. I quickly became obsessed with Phil and his dog Marty. And now I bother them nonstop.
Obsessed with me? What do you need to know? I thought...
We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Because I feel like this right here, the listeners can't see, but I'm gesturing towards your Spice Cabinet. I feel like this reveals a lot. Like if I was reading your palms, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, you got a long life for love, right?
That's the idea.
Right, exactly.
Spices make
a lot
the
of stuff
person.
going on.
Yeah, you were looking at my refrigerator.
Zelda?
There's a picture of Zelda, who's my niece. Now she's 11.
Oh, how old is she there?
Probably 8.
I was going to say, when they're at that age and they have glasses. So I have contacts in now, but I have worn glasses since I was about, 7, 8, I guess. And I grew up in the 80s because I'm old. Don't even look at me like that, all right? So 70s, 80s, the glasses you got, plus my stepdad was in the Air Force. And so we got those bootleg military issue glasses.
Okay.
So them things were giant. They were giant Sally Jesse Raphael glasses, but it was the early 80s, mid 80s, so it was dusky rose.
I'm snapping my fingers and dancing in my seat because I spent the entire motherfucking 80s wearing red Sally Jesse Raphael.
This is what I'm talking about.
Because they were the cheapest.
Exactly. Oh my God. Yeah. So babies with glasses are so cute, but I was not cute with glasses. I I was just a very homely child. Homely. And the glasses made it worse.
You're gonna have to send.
Poor
You're
baby.
gonna have to send some proof.
No, it won't. No. That stuff is safely buried.
Zelda, she's my sister's daughter. She has an older sister named Ella.
Wow.
Okay, so Zelda's last name.
I love
Ella.
these jazz age names.
Let me tell you their last name.
Okay. Is it
Gillespie.
Shut up. What? Does she
Ella
play the trumpet?
and Zelda Gillespie. I'll probably edit out that long pause. But the pauses I edit out in podcast.
No, you need to keep that one because the build-up to it was great. I would go to any jazz club in which Zelda or Ella Gillespie was, was playing.
Oh yeah, so it's Ella Gillespie's birthday today.
Did you call and wish her a happy birthday as her favorite uncle? You doing to do it after the podcast? You want to do it right now? You want to record it?
Okay, I'm gonna tell. I can tell you some more things that I'll edit out. Ella and Zelda are my biological daughters.
I'm so happy to be here right now.
We did it all by mail order. They're in New York. I was in San Francisco.
Wow.
And Federal Express, when you have
gonna ask.
absolutely get it overnight.
Yeah.
Because you do for something like this.
Yes.
And it worked.
Wow.
Twice. I'm going to wind up telling this one Zelda story.
Okay.
When Zelda was 3, so right now the family's in Brooklyn. Ella was born in Manhattan, but Zelda was born in Brooklyn. She was going to it's called Chickpeas, the nursery preschool thing. And it was arts and crafts time. All the kids are working with glue and glitter and stuff like that. And then Zelda, who's this mop of red hair with rolls and this little pudgy thing with glasses. She's limping across the floor. And the teacher's like, "Did you go to the bathroom, Zelda?" She looks up and she's kind of squinty too. She said, "I pooped." And the teacher's like, okay. Picks up Zelda, brings her to the office, and puts on gloves and does the protocol, and then takes down Zelda's pants and takes off her diaper, but there was no poop. Now instead, there was construction paper that was cut in circles and colored in brown. 3-year-old Zelda punked her preschool teacher.
What is
And then I was so proud as the biological father. I'm like, she's got my genes.
Did she, when your sister's relating this to you, did she tell you whether Zelda was able to keep a straight face, or was she laughing? Because I would, even as a 3-year-old, I wouldn't have been able to hold it. I would have been cracking myself
so
up.
Deadpan. Zelda has fascinated adults her whole life, and she is insanely deadpan.
Zelda,
So
I
anyway.
can't love your family any more than I do, but every day I learn a little something more.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, so, okay.
Are you the youngest?
No, what? No.
See, I don't know
Do you see
the
how I'm offended
thumbnails.
by? Okay, I'm the older.
Okay.
Well, here we go. Okay, so I have a younger brother who's considerably younger. He's 8 years younger than I am. That's a different generation. So we didn't get along at all growing up. And I also, resented him a lot. This has nothing to do with spices, but it does have to do with my mother, who was an amazing cook. And I think she passed that down to me, right?
Okay.
So a lot of I don't want to say issues with food, because, people talk about food in a real messed up way, I ate well today, or, I ate some bad stuff, or,
Right.
I did good or whatever. And I don't like that. But growing up in that house, it was very much about food being a love language. You know how people talk about
Yes,
that?
yeah.
So if I like you, I feed you, that's just, but then also we're eating together and, it's part of a whole thing, which is interesting because I don't like having people in my house. Anyway, we'll come back to that too.
Yeah.
Put a pin in that.
I was interested in that.
So I have a younger brother who's 8 years younger than I am. And, the reality is, without intending to, boy children and girl children are treated much differently, right? And so my brother's younger, and I just felt like I had to be a kind of second mom for him in a way that I didn't.
Oh, it's one room because the age difference, if that kind of happened.
So, you know, like during the summers and stuff, I wouldn't be able to really go off and do my own thing because, you know, I had to watch my brother. Anyways, we didn't get along when I was growing up. I loved that little knucklehead, but we didn't really get along. Like, it was just tension. But as we got older, we got much closer. And then when my mom passed, we're like, just, you know, I mean, my brother's always been, you know, cooler than the cold side of the pillow, but he's just the best person.
When did your mom pass?
It's going to be 10 years in April. I was just talking about this with my friend Francine, whose dog Spot you gonna meet. But yeah, it doesn't feel anything close to 10 years. I think my grief was so overwhelming that I kind of put it away. And so like the time doesn't, it's impossible to mark the time.
Yeah. I'm relating to that. Yeah, my mom passed 9 years ago, and I feel the same way in terms of it feeling a lot less than 9 or 10 years, you know.
Yeah.
Especially like when the anniversary of that comes around. And it feels like it's right there.
Yeah. And I think when my mom first died, so she was in a car accident. So it wasn't like, you know, an illness where we kind of knew what was coming.
Right.
So there was the surprise, but, you know, it happened. And for a long time on the monthly anniversaries, I was just inconsolable and bereft. And so I was, you know, marking time like in a hyper vigilant kind of way for a while. And I had to stop that. Like, I think, you know, my brain and my heart, you know, kind of had to pack things up for me because I was not allowing any, I don't want to say progress, but I wasn't dealing in a way. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a very weird spice cabinet.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm so sorry. That sounds like crazy because of the unexpectedness. Yeah.
It was just, yeah. Like, I don't even have I don't know how people move on.
Yeah.
I haven't figured that out yet. So I'm just kind of letting it cook. It's just kind of been an emotional,
I don't
slow
think there's
cooker
moving
for a
on.
while.
I don't think there's moving on. Something I felt, because I had a difficult upbringing with, like, my mom was like really bright, smart, but like fucked up. You know, had some kind of mania, you know. She was like out of like a big extended family, she was the brains of the family. She was very smart. Despite like the upbringing, I always felt like when she passed, the best of her like lives within me now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and so you mentioned cooking already. Did that happen after she passed, or like did you used to cook together with your mom, or like how did that come about?
You know, I don't have a lot of memories of us cooking together, but I definitely absorbed it. You know, like I liked being around her. Like I just, you know how you say, or some people say like, oh, I love my family, but I don't like them very much. I liked my mother, you know, like she was just a very interesting and funny and amazing person. And, you know, without glossing over any of the things that any parent does to, you know, fuck up their kid. Because, you know, nobody's perfect, right? But despite that, she was an amazing person. So I liked hanging around her.
Yeah.
So I think I just soaked up a lot of stuff in the kitchen. And then when I moved away to college, I was so eager to be grown and have my own place that cooking was part of it. So like I'm making food for myself and my friends, you know, I'm a grown up, I'm an adult. And then, you know, the reality is like my family didn't have any money, so I didn't come up in a family that ate out all the time. So like you cook to eat, you know, you eat what's in the house.
So do you feel closer to your mom when you do cook?
I don't know that I feel closer, but I do feel like it's something she gave me. It's impossible for me to feel any closer than I do all the time with her. You know, I dream about her all the time. I just, like, I know she's around. And my mom and I are, like, I'm quite different from how she was. You know, she was incredibly outgoing, loved talking to people. I don't like talking to nobody if I don't have to. My mom loved talking to people. Incredibly giving. just, different, like just completely different personalities. And yet I feel like I'm the other side to her coin in a lot of ways, So I just feel like, I don't know.
I'm saving this one for Mother's Day.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. No, I feel that. I feel you on that. Like, you can't really be closer. So like, I know you don't know, but I perform and stuff. Like my mom is in like most of my. She might be in like every piece. The character of my mom in every piece.
Yeah.
And
do you wrestle with not being honest, but feeling any kind of responsibility to not share something that it isn't yours to share? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how some people, when they write about their families or perform stuff about their families, and they're like, well, you know what? This is part of me, and this is how I see it and how I lived it.
Yeah.
And then there are other people who are just very hesitant because they're like, well, I wouldn't want my dad to be embarrassed. If I told
that's
the story
such an interesting question. When I perform, I'm definitely being like crazy vulnerable, but people are finding humor. The fact that like I'm portraying my mom, like Philip, get me my blue water, because like she had water in a favorite cup that was blue, and like she'd be in bed like on Valium and like want me to get her water and change the TV channel or something like that. Like not great, but like it's very relatable. So like I'm doing these things and like I'm thinking like I'm painting these kind of like not great pictures of my childhood, but people are like, oh, that was great. And my brother and my sister are like, I loved it.
Yeah. Are you close with your brother?
My brother I talk to a lot. He's like an engineer mind though. So like don't really try to do a lot of I probably will edit this out. No. He gives me so much support. He's an engineer mind, so he doesn't really get the emotional breadth of some of the things I've gone through. Yeah. Like divorce and stuff like that. He's like, but my brother's like,
sorry, you don't feel good, and if I could fix it, I would.
Oh,
it's like, cause
my goodness,
because I think,
and that's so sweet. Oh.
He was just, he comes.
Your whole family sounds like.
That's it.
Zelda.
Brother. My brother. My brother and my sister, they each have 2 girls. Wow. So like I got 4 nieces.
That's amazing.
In descending sizes.
And you got Marty.
I got Marty. I have a question for someone who doesn't leave the house or likes talking to people.
Give it to me.
How did you get all hooked up with the feminist frequencies?
Funny story. Yeah. It's not a funny story at all. I saw the job posting. I had been a fan.
Don't get too far from that, Mike.
I've been a fan of Feminist Frequency for a while.
I'm not doing my job.
And so I applied because I had been wanting to do something new for a while. I had worked in nonprofits before, but wanted to work for a nonprofit that more closely aligned with kind of the political compass within me.
Yep.
So I saw the job posting. It sounded perfect, and I was like, I'm not gonna get hired for this job. Like, I bet they have a million internal candidates, right? Now
Where
I know.
was it posted?
It was posted on, I think, Idealist. Now that I'm on the inside and I know what I know about the organization, it's a small organization. It wasn't like they could have hired from the inside. But anyways, I was like, I'm not going to get the job, but I will hate myself if I don't apply. So I did, and had, like 3 Skype interviews. Met Anita over Skype. She thought my interview was great, and I looked into it. This honestly is the best job I've ever had, and I've had so many wonderful jobs, but just in terms of like getting my soul fed, this is amazing.
I'm jelly.
You should be, because it's good.
Yeah.
You want me to try and find some work for you at Feminist Frequency?
Please.
More work?
If I could do sound design for like a good solid 5 days on that podcast.
Oh my gosh, you would elevate our stuff so much.
You know how I look at each episode?
To pay you.
This one's like Pet Sounds. Oh, this one's like Sgt. Pepper. No.
Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna have to renegotiate your contract.
Um,
Do you miss being in restaurants? Let me get back on the mic because we're gonna get into it here.
Oh, we're about to get into it.
Do you miss being in restaurants?
I miss the people and
Which people? Like the people you worked with?
Yeah, but
the people you employed or the customers?
But no. I mean, I miss the people I employed and used to see every day, and I still see a lot of them. Mm-hmm. This is what I loved about the restaurant. Many things. I came from 20 years in an office, workers' comp, and then all of a sudden restaurants, so many opportunities for creativity. Yeah. I obsessed. I made like 8-hour playlists that were each song segued into each other, where I was so particular about like these songs could have no middle. I made sure like the frequencies, like there needed to be space in the song so there's conversation. So I was like insane. Whenever I was in the restaurant, I'd look at the customers, I would feel so proud because I'm like, oh my God, I want to hang out with everyone in this place.
Mm-hmm. I love talking to people who are able to draw energy from being around other people and who can be very deliberate about their environments and about their relationships, but who also can kind of just wade into the water and retain a sense of self. I just think I love it. I love hearing about it. But as you were talking, okay, let me back up here. This is gonna be the kookiest episode of Spice.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Sound effect.
Every episode is my favorite episode, right? Of Spice Cabinet.
Okay.
But I particularly loved the one that Zara hosted, right? Here in this very kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Because she turned the spotlight onto our host, Mr. Phil Surkis, right?
Which is what she wanted to do.
Right. And one of the things that Zara does is she says, like, I like to, poke at the bruise, right?
One of my favorite things to do to my students is find a bruise and poke.
My Spice Cabinet is riddled with bruises, but or maybe I don't know. She knows. This will be a part where I insert that.
Right. I don't want to poke at the bruise. I'm not good at that. It requires a very kind of deft hand to do that well, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have that skill. Oh, I just turned towards your Spice Cabinet.
Yeah.
Right. I see the peanut butter pretzels that
I didn't hide them.
Yeah, you didn't hide them, which would have been nice. Next time, do that for me.
Okay. They're unopened. Does that help?
Yeah, it does help actually.
Okay.
Because if they were open, I'd be like, I'm just gonna grab one too, right? Do you mind if I just,
Trader Joe packaging is so structurally not sound. Like even when a closed bag is virtually open.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna reseal that thing. You're gonna eat, 2/3
I
of it.
feel like,
Otherwise, it's gonna spill out.
Their bags break.
No, so I'm trying to think if there are any like resonances with my own Spice Cabinet. We have similar stuff, like kind of the standbys, like the soy sauce, honey, rice vinegar, sea salt, etc. But you got some cool stuff in here, and I hope you don't mind. You weren't looking, but I was smelling all of them, like popping the top. Okay, good, because I did already.
I heard you're like, ooh, what's this?
Yeah. So like the ras al hanout, love, right?
Yeah.
And you've got like some Himalayan table salts.
Yeah.
Jamaican allspice. Like you've just got some interesting stuff here that would lead one to believe that you're making
that I could throw down?
fairly like, elaborate stuff like, Phil can put his foot in something, right?
Right.
But then you go down and it's like one can of tuna, one can of beans, So I'm like, what's going on here? Like, is he cooking a lot for himself? Is he cooking a lot for other people? Is he one of those people like, like the French or something? Like you go out and shop every day and cook fresh stuff every day. Or are you the guy who's like, I'm going to eat, an individual pack of trail mix. I'm going to have, maybe some rice with butter on it and maybe like a rotisserie chicken from the store.
No, I'm not cooking as heavy as some of those spices would indicate. But I do pull them out occasionally and try to throw them in something.
Yeah.
But you love to cook. How often are you cooking down
all
there?
The time.
Because you don't like to leave the house.
I don't like to leave the house. I cook all the time, and I try and... I have an exaggerated sense of my abilities. Sometimes, like, I'll get in over my head with stuff. But
what's your go-to?
Oh boy.
What's your dish to impress?
I'll tell you what my specialty is. My specialty is cooking too much food. Whatever I make, I'm making, 5 different things at once. It's too much food. Because again, food is my love language, right? So I'm overflowing with this stuff. Exactly. Yeah. So my favorite time to cook is Thanksgiving. The holidays are really the one time when like as if it's not enough stress, right? You wouldn't want a huge number of people in your house. And yet inevitably Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, like I have a bunch of people in my house and I just love the whole thing. The turkey, the macaroni and cheese, the cornbread stuffing, the rolls, like just making stuff from scratch. Like I just love cooking for folks.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, I would cook all this stuff and then people would come with their own Tupperware and just take it away and eat it outside of my house. And I could just pass out on the couch.
Oh my God. This is so crazy. This reminds me a little bit of, I'm going to say
Go
it anyway.
ahead, say it.
Like sitting Shiva.
Okay.
Where you're just there, the door's open, people are coming in with food or taking food, and it's like, and you're like, you don't really have to be involved at that point. You're just there while the other people do their thing. Yeah. You can participate or not.
I used to have this great thing at Thanksgiving, Ebbsgiving, it's called. I invite people every year. It's always a house full of folks. And the way it started was with just a couple of folks, because I would get so sad thinking about people who didn't have any place to go. If you don't want to go anywhere, that's great. If you can't get to your family, or you don't have a place to be, but you kind of miss that, like, I don't want you to be alone, So even if you just come over for a little bit to hang, I just want people to have a place to pull up.
That's so lovely. I wanted to drive down to LA for that.
Do it. No, wait a minute. Because you had an amazing Thanksgiving last year, right? Like, weren't you sitting next to Lettucey or something?
Oh, that was for a food and wine photo shoot, and that was a few years ago.
That's not your normal Thanksgiving?
No. That was at Michael Chabon's house.
Okay.
Is that the bonkers shit I'm dropping?
Right.
I say I know some people.
You said, I roll deep-ish. Okay.
I need to talk to everyone who's ever been on this podcast and where are the invites at?
Yeah, actually that should be the thing. Hey, in addition to Spice Cabinet,
but I gotta
maybe
say,
there's a bonus episode, you cook something together.
I don't know what Zara's cooking though. I don't think she's making popcorn.
I think that'd be good, right? I see you have popcorn in here.
Oh yeah,
farm to you and the herb de Provence. See, listen. Yeah. I'm a Spice Cabinet.
She knows people mail in your box tops.
I love listening to it. As you know, I'm batting around the idea of starting my own podcast, whether it's just me.
Be student honor roll. Or if it's, me with a friend, whatever. I'm obsessively listening to other podcasts. I don't tend to listen to a lot of the what do they call them? Like high concept ones, right? So as popular as things like, My Favorite Murder or whatever are, that's not really what I'm interested in. Right.
I'm more interested in, these things where you feel like you're kind of getting a peek into someone's life, or you just rolled up in a coffee shop and there's an interesting conversation happening a table over. I like that.
Life is stimulating enough. I don't need a lot of sensational stuff.
Exactly. Well, plus I watch a lot of crime dramas, so I'll get that from TV.
You'll get that from television.
You're going to need to, what's the word? Not decompress. Edit out this pause. After a massage where they do the thing where they rub the energy and whatever. You're going to have to do that emotionally after this episode. It was very heavy.
It was the heaviest episode.
From someone you just met.
Someone I just met.
Where do I get the nerve?
I don't know, but you get it every week on Feminist Frequency
Goodbye.
Radio. Hey, Ebony Aster, thank you for appearing on this episode of Spice Cabinet. One of these days, we'll have to do a follow-up episode in your home area of somewhere in Southern California at an undisclosed location.
That's right. Or you can just come be on B Student Honor Roll once that gets off the ground.
I would love to do that. I want to be the producer.
Yeah, well,
but she's
once I
some reason.
Once I start selling ads and can afford you, then I will let you do it. But
if you,
I'm not trying to bust in and get them charity rates when dudes got to pay them rent. And
if you can help me figure out how to exploit this beautiful looking dog that's at our feet right now,
I know.
I feel like this is $1 million dog.
It is. It is. I would give this dog all of my money.
That's because his vet bills are through the roof. No, I'm just kidding. On that note,
but pump.
Bye.
Bye.